Hello and welcome to my MindMap screencast. This screencast details the layout for my teaching website for a class of second graders. So the first page that you will come to upon opening my website is the welcome page. This page will tell a little bit about me as a teacher, and it will also include my contact information, like my phone number and email address, and appropriate times to contact me. It will also include a little bit of an about the teacher section, which will tell about me, my past in education, and include a photograph of me. I will also include on this welcome page an option for Spanish translation of the website for ELL students and parents, and possibly translations into other languages as necessary, as students in my class speak different languages. The first tab on the website will be labeled Our Class, and it will bring parents to links for the daily class schedule, as well as links to the special schedule. And it's going to help them have a sense of knowing what's going on in their child's day or week. There's also going to be a link to pictures of the class and the activities that we've done, like field trips or experiments and things like that. Lastly, I will include a brief overview of units of study that our class has participated in. For example, if the class is participating in a study on narrative writing, this section will include a brief description of what narrative writing is and some books to use as mentor texts and some activities to do at home with children to practice this skill. The second tab on the website will be labeled Calendar. This will include events that are happening in the school and classroom each month and will be regularly updated. Some of the things listed might include picture day or PTA and board meetings, school breaks, and field trips, all under upcoming events. In the case of events like field trips, it will also list whether parents need to return a signed permission slip or whether we are looking for parent volunteers for any of these events. The next tab on the website will be labeled Parents, and this is going to be the biggest section of my website. This tab is going to include a link to the state standards for second grades so that parents know what the state requires of their children to know by the end of second grade. It will also include a list of developmental milestones typical of a second grader. This is important because so many parents worry that their children don't know what they're supposed to know or can't do what every other child their age can, and this is a great way to put parents' fears at rest and also to potentially help parents identify learning or developmental disabilities in their children so that they are able to get the necessary services for their kids as early as possible. The next section will also include tips for helping students with homework. I know that this is an area of frustration and parents often complain about it, and it will also include a list of recommended tutors or tutoring programs in the event that a parent feels that their child needs additional help. The next section under the Parents tab will include a list of books that parents can read with their kids. I feel reading is so important, and if parents know the types of books that their child may like, they might be more inclined to take out books from the library or to buy their children books as gifts. The last resource under the Parents website will include a link to the website kinderstart.com, which is a great website that includes a lot of resources for parents, and it's kind of a parenting handbook. And it includes resources on things like child development, adoption, nutrition, travel, and even healthcare services. This way, parents who feel overwhelmed but are too embarrassed to ask for help know where they can get their services without having to ask. Next, I would include a tab labeled Websites for Kids. This first section would include a brief outline on cyber safety and the importance of cyber safety so that parents can review it with their kids before using any of the websites. I know that a lot of parents may not know how to address this topic with their children or know of available websites and resources, so I will also include a link to cyber safety websites that parents can use with their kids. Lastly, I would include a list of safe and teacher-approved websites for kids to use, educational websites, and also apps, because so many kids today use tablets and smartphones far more than computers, and some things like Raz Kids or NationalGeographicKids.com would be great resources for kids to use when they're at home. The next tab would outline something that I am so passionate about and that I plan to include for a personal goal for each of my students every year, and that's the 40 book challenge. This challenge was outlined by Donalyn Miller in her book, The Book Whisperer, and it really helps children to become lifelong readers. I would explain that the challenge is intended to help students who love reading already to explore different genres, and it's going to help students who really don't enjoy reading to develop a love for it. The 40-book challenge is a personal challenge for each student, and it's not a competition between students or classes, and it's really important to emphasize this for parents. In every competition or contest, there are winners and losers, and we don't want to communicate to our students that they're reading losers. For some students, reading 40 books is an impossible leap from where they start as readers, and for others, it's not a challenge at all. So for example, if Alex reads 2 books in 4th grade and 22 in 5th grade, that's a huge leap, and that's something that should be celebrated. Even though he didn't reach the 40-book mark, he had 22 successful reading experiences, and that's something to be celebrated. And conversely, when Haley reads 55 books in 4th grade, reading 40 books in 5th grade isn't a challenge for her. So as the teacher, I would encourage her to read biographies and historical fiction, which she doesn't really like or read a lot of, to stretch her more than simply reading books that she always reads. So in this section, students would log the books that they have read and write short reviews on them if they really loved a certain book, if they really hated a certain book. And I would also log the books that I have personally read and write short reviews on them, so that this personal challenge isn't overwhelming or a competition for students, but it's instead meant to create a community of readers within the classroom, and this section of the webpage would really convey that to parents. The last section of my website would include a spotlight on students, like a student of the week. Each week I would pick a student who had accomplished something really great, and I would have them write or record something about themselves and what they have accomplished. So students could choose to record a podcast or a voice thread or an animoto about their accomplishment, and every student in the class would be chosen for different things. So for example, if Molly got her highest grade yet on a spelling test, even if that's an 85%, if she worked really hard and she put in a lot of effort studying, she could be selected as the spotlight student. Or if Andrew volunteered at a local food pantry on a Saturday, he could be selected. This section is all about celebrating students' accomplishments, both academic and not, and inside and outside of school. This section would also really draw in parents and students to the website, and while they're reading about the Spotlight student, they might end up looking into other parts of my website and finding other important information. Overall, I feel that these 6 sections are a great overview of my future teaching website. Thanks for watching.